Hello everyone and welcome back. That's me now officially back from the Montreal Major. Just want to quickly say it was an absolute pleasure to be there. I'm beyond thankful to Ubisoft for inviting me out, and it was an absolute honor meeting all of you there. I wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't for you, and I am beyond thankful for everything. But in this video, I want to take a look at a few hidden changes and stuff you have missed, which is coming in Year 9 Season 4, as I think a lot of this stuff is actually pretty important, knowing going into the new season. And I guarantee you there's at least going to be one thing in this video where you're going to go, huh, I didn't know that. So all I do ask if you go on to enjoy this video is dropping it a like, consider commenting since it does help with the algorithm, and making sure you're subscribed since we are trying to hit 200k. Right, let's get into this video. Now, the first thing you've probably missed is about Blackbeard's adaptable shield. Now, I know you've probably all seen the rework. I'm not going to start repeating everything you've ever seen, but the shield works in a way which I don't think a lot of people have understood or noticed. So, when he's in his normal stance, it acts like any other shield. Again, this is something you already probably know. And something you also know is when he goes for an ADS with his weapon, the glass ballistic shield at the front drops down, exposing his head, but allowing him to shoot. However, his shield also goes into different modes as well. If you go on repel, for example, the shield becomes much smaller. It still grants you protection as to when you're on repel, and when you ADS, the glass bit still drops down. However, it does leave a significant chunk of your lower body exposed. So you are going to have to be playing around the edges of the window at the top and bottom, as well as the sides, but standing in the middle of the window, you are going to be very exposed. This still allows for window play, however, it doesn't mean you're just standing in the middle of a window with a full extended shield. I know a lot of people already know that he still has a shield when on repel, however, I don't think they realize that the shield is actually in a different, smaller state, and you do have to be conscious of that. But there is yet another form the shield can take, and that is when you are on your phone, and I would actually say more importantly, when you're planting. So typically with a shield operator, let's say Monty, when you go for a plant, your shield goes on your back, and it actually gives you a lot of protection, allowing people to plant as a shield in the corner with their back turned, and providing them sort of like a turtle shell protection method. Well, Blackbeard's adaptable shield is actually going to act a little bit differently. When he goes into the planting animation or on his phone, for example, the shield goes on his back, however, it goes into a smaller, lightweight form, fully retracted, leaving a lot of his backside exposed. Now, you will still get some form of protection. This little bit on his back is still going to be protected, but it's not going to be to the same extent as it does for other shield operators. I think this is a really important fact about the new Blackbeard rework, which a lot of people have missed, so make sure you send this to your friends and let them know that Blackbeard's shield is going to work a little bit differently. Right, this next one is less so more of a hidden detail, but I just really wanted to show it off, and I thought this video was a perfect place to do that, and that is the brand new updated Elite skin for Blackbeard. Now, for the most part, all the weapon skins do seem the same, as well as the headgear and uniform, but we now, of course, have a brand new gadget skin for his hull adaptable shield. Now, considering the current version of this Elite skin with his rifle shield doesn't really give much of a gadget skin, it basically just says gorilla at the top and does nothing more than that. I think this is a massive step up from his old version of the Elite skin, and I think it does look very cool. As well as this, the MVP animation has had a little update as well. It is still pretty similar to the old version, however, he does now have his hull adaptable shield in it, and he sort of begins to make it smaller and extend it throughout the animation. I actually think now would be a really fun time to give Blackbeard another Elite skin, but it is really cool that they have updated his original one. I also think we should note that I don't know if the shield itself will have skins separate from the Elite skin, similar to how Blitz and Monty do, as well as having their Elite gadget skin, which does change the model of its look a little bit. So we don't know if they're going to go down that path with Blackbeard, and this is going to be one of many skins for the gadget, but we'll just have to see how that goes. And I guess the final thing we should mention here is it does seem that although he no longer has the deagle in his loadout, you will still be able to get this weapon skin when purchasing the Elite skin and use it on the other operators who do still have the deagle. I imagine they've done this purely because this is the only way you could get that deagle skin, so removing it from the Elite skin would mean that this skin would no longer be available in the game at all, and I just don't think they want to make this skin no longer available. So yeah, I think keeping it in the Elite package is perfectly fine, even though Blackbeard no longer has access to said weapon. Right, this next one is going to be a little minor change to Oregon, which I've actually found the moment I started doing this playtest of this new season, and that is going to be when you're making vertical holes onto the bottom of white stairs. Now, this bit of the floor is still wooden, but in this floor is unpenetrable metal sheet, which now just completely blocks any angle onto bottom white stairs. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know if this is intentional or not. Keeping it this way does allow for a new position for defenders to play in this corner, but I will say if they are going to keep this in and this is intentional, then I think you should just remove the wooden bits from this completely and just make it look like a bit of concrete, just to help players understand that this bit is different from the wooden bit right beside it. I think regardless if this is intentional or not as well, I think it is cool to go back into some older maps and just do some tiny tweaks like this without necessarily changing the entire map itself. Especially a map like Oregon, which people deem, although a great map, don't get me wrong, one of the more boring maps in the pool. So little tweaks like this are honestly not unwelcome. I just think if this is intentional and if they are going forward with this, I think just change it visually to not be wooden like the rest of the floor, just to help new players understand that this is different, and you just don't want to have that gamble of, am I shooting through a wooden floor here or am I not? Right, this next one is going to be a pretty big thing which has been completely patched in this new season, and this is the fact that you can now no longer run into the middle of window ledges. There is a bunch of different locations throughout this game on multiple maps where you can navigate yourself into the middle of a window and use it to swing around this window to get kills, for example. One map I would always do this on would be in Master Bedroom on Clubhouse. You could easily just climb on top of the bed and run into the middle of the windowsill, and it would allow you for a really safe peek onto anyone playing on Highway. Well, I'm trying to do it on the test server, and you can no longer do it. And in their patch notes, they did say that this is on every single window throughout the entire game. So going forward, there isn't going to be a single spot which you can do this. It isn't just this one on Clubhouse. I honestly understand why they've done this, because you just want to have that consistency with every single window in the game. And again, this also just comes down to new players. You don't want to teach new players that, okay, there's some windows in this game where someone can stand in the middle of it, but it actually isn't an intentional thing, and you have to wiggle yourself on top of objects to do it. Keeping it consistent throughout the board, saying that, hey, this is a window, you either jump through it, rappel through it, peek through it, but you can't stand in the middle of it, is a fine thing to do. And I think it's quite good that they have managed to find a universal fix for this, because forcing map devs to sort of go back and trying to change every single map would have been a bit of a pain. And like in this scenario on Master Bedroom and Clubhouse, what would you have done? Moved the bed, gotten rid of it? That could have just ended up causing more issues with the actual layout of the core room. And, you know, you just don't want to mess with that stuff. So yeah, I honestly think this is a great change. Another major thing which has been removed in this season is the exploit which allowed you to make a barricade vaultable without necessarily punching two separate bits of the wooden part itself. It basically involved you messing with the corner with a little method of shooting it and then hitting it twice, and it would just then allow you to have the option to vault through the window. But like I'm saying, you want to keep consistency throughout the game. You want to make it visible that, okay, this window has two broken parts of the barricade. That means this window is ready to be vaulted. This little trick was by all means an exploit, wasn't intentional, and was a bug. I've seen quite a few people complaining about this, but like, just do it a barricade like anyone else does. It isn't that much of an issue. Again, me personally, I see no issue with just keeping consistency amongst all of this stuff, because it's not like it's even breaking a skill ceiling anyway. It's just a bit cheap. So when you complain to Ubisoft to fix a game, don't complain when they actually do fix a game and fix a lot of bugs like this. But moving on, talking about a bug which has been broken for so long and is finally fixed, is it claims that Hibana's gadget skin has been fixed and the Cairo pellets are finally white. Now, I don't have the Elite skin on the test server, so I can't actually provide information or gameplay if this actually works or not, but according to official sources, this has been fixed. Rejoice, I'm so happy. It's been broken for so long. And another thing which has been broken for so long and is finally fixed in this season is breaching walls on Emerald Plains. I guarantee this has happened to so many of you. There's been a reinforced wall on Emerald Plains, you got to put a thermite charge on it, you detonate it, and the wall doesn't actually open up. Well, this is finally fixed in Operation Collision Force, and I'm so glad, because I have seen the R6 subreddit bombarded with this, and I've had this bug plenty of times myself, so I'm glad that thermite is now finally going to be usable on Emerald Plains. Now, this next little change comes to the match replay system, and honestly, it's quite minor, but it's really fun, and that's the fact that the little timeline at the bottom now tells you when each and every kill happened. Better yet, when you click this, it will switch to that said operator and show you the kill at that time. So if you had a really fun kill in a match and you say, oh, that kill I got on a Rooney was so sick. Just load up the game, go to that round, and you'll see at the bottom when you killed a Rooney, for example. Click it, and it'll take you directly to that kill. Again, this is nothing groundbreaking, but it's definitely something a replay system in a game like this should have, and it works really well, and I think this was just a great update. And yeah, I can't see anyone complaining about this one. I think this is really fun. Great job with this one. But yeah, everyone, that is going to do it for this video. There's probably a few more changes, which myself and other people haven't actually found yet. So if you want to see more, be sure to subscribe to this channel, and I'll keep you guys updated. But I thought that was quite a fun little compilation of some smaller stuff coming in Operation Collision Force. Be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below if you did enjoy this video. Drop a like on it if you did enjoy, and subscribe if you're new. Catch you all later. I love you all. Stay safe. Peace.